Iran has formally confirmed the arrival of Russian MiG-29 fighter jets, a development that signals Tehran's determination to modernize its air force despite decades of sanctions and regional isolation. The announcement came from Abulfazl Zohrevand, a member of Iran's parliament and the National Security and Foreign Policy Commission, who described the delivery as a short-term solution, while Tehran awaits the arrival of more advanced platforms such as Russia's Su-35 fighters and China's HQ-9 long-range surface-to-air missile systems. His remarks, made in September 2025, underscore a broader military pivot by Iran that includes not only Russian aircraft but also advanced air defense systems from both Russia and China, placing Tehran firmly within the orbit of Moscow and Beijing's expanding defense networks. Zohrevand revealed that the MiG-29s are already operationally stationed at Shiraz, one of Iran's most strategic air bases, tasked with defending the Islamic Republic's central and southern regions against potential Israeli or U.S. incursions. At the same time, he insisted that Su-35 deliveries would continue gradually, describing the Flanker E as the backbone of Iran's future air power, while also stressing that these deliveries were progressing extensively despite earlier doubts raised about the deal's viability. Equally significant, Zohrevand confirmed that the HQ-9, China's flagship long-range SAM system, is already being delivered in large quantities, reinforcing Iran's layered defense network and highlighting Beijing's expanding role in strengthening Tehran's military posture. The acquisitions come on the heels of Israel's intensified strike campaigns against Iranian targets in Syria and recent cross-border clashes, highlighting Tehran's urgency to strengthen its deterrence posture and ensure its air defense architecture can withstand high-intensity conflict scenarios. Analysts point out that the parallel delivery of MiG-29 and HQ-9 systems provides Iran with an integrated short to long-range defensive shield, allowing Tehran to complicate adversary strike planning and extend its radar surveillance deep into contested airspace. The progression of Su-35 deliveries, if sustained, would mark Iran's most significant leap in air power since the 1979 revolution, granting it multi-role combat aircraft capable of challenging Israeli and Gulf air forces across both defensive and offensive missions. Iran's Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force has long been an unusual mix of pre-1979 U.S.-supplied aircraft, Soviet-era platforms, and improvised upgrades. Legacy U.S. aircraft such as the F-14 Tomcat, F-4 Phantom II, and F-5 Tiger II remain in service, despite being more than half a century old, thanks to a combination of reverse engineering, cannibalization of spare parts, and clandestine procurement. The MiG-29, a twin-engine fourth-generation Soviet fighter, was first introduced into Iran's arsenal in 1990, when Tehran received 24 fulcrums from the collapsing Soviet Union. The Gulf War in 1991 brought an unexpected bonus when several Iraqi Air Force MiG-29s defected to Iran to avoid destruction by coalition airstrikes, bolstering Tehran's fleet. Since then, Iran's MiG-29s have been deployed primarily for point defense missions, including the protection of critical facilities in Tehran, Natanz, and Bushehr, despite their increasingly dated avionics and limited beyond visual range capabilities. The latest transfer of MiG-29s from Russia, while not game-changing, represents a critical stopgap measure to sustain Iran's frontline fighter numbers as it waits for deliveries of far more capable Su-35 multi-role fighters. The MiG-29 Fulcrum remains a capable fourth-generation air superiority fighter, albeit one considered technologically obsolete when compared to fifth-generation platforms like the American F-35 Lightning II or Israel's stealthy F-35 Ayadir. Powered by twin Klymov RD-33 turbofan engines, the aircraft can achieve speeds of Mach 2.25 and a combat radius of roughly 700 kilometers without external fuel tanks. Its avionics, however, are considered outdated by modern standards, with early variants fielding mechanically scanned radars that lack the multi-target engagement capacity of active electronically scanned array systems. To mitigate these shortcomings, Russian defense sources suggest that some of the transferred MiG-29s may be upgraded to the MiG-29 SMT standard, featuring enhanced Juk-ME radar, improved range, and compatibility with precision-guided munitions. While the MiG-29 delivery fills immediate gaps, the Su-35 Flanker E deal represents Iran's true leap forward in aerial warfare capability. The Su-35 is widely regarded as one of the most advanced 4.5-generation fighters in the world, boasting thrust vectoring engines, a range exceeding 3,500 kilometers, and advanced Irbis-E radar capable of tracking stealth aircraft at extended ranges. Iran has pursued the Su-35 since at least 2023. And by January 2025, senior Iranian commanders confirmed that the jets were indeed on order. Complications soon arose, however, with reports suggesting that aircraft originally earmarked for Iran after a failed Egyptian deal, were redirected to Algeria, raising doubts about Moscow's willingness to prioritize Tehran's needs. Equally critical to Iran's defense modernization is the reinforcement of its surface-to-air missile network with Chinese and Russian systems. Zohrevand confirmed that the HQ-9, China's flagship long-range SAM, is being delivered in large quantities, supplementing Iran's domestically produced Bavar-373 and Russian-supplied S-300 PMU-2 systems. The HQ-9, modeled heavily on the Russian S-300, offers an engagement envelope of over 200 kilometers, capable of intercepting aircraft, drones, and even some classes of ballistic missiles. Iran accelerated procurement of the HQ-9 following Israeli strikes in 2025 that revealed critical vulnerabilities in its layered defense systems. In parallel, Tehran is expecting deliveries of the Russian S-400 Triumph, one of the world's most formidable SAM systems, with a range of 400 kilometers and the ability to track and engage multiple targets simultaneously. The integration of both HQ-9 and S-400 into Iran's air defense network would create a formidable anti-access area denial umbrella across key strategic sites, complicating potential Israeli or US strike plans. That's all for today's update. Please subscribe and like this video.